used by. Fine. The next one is we will jump into the other functions like the all selected, all except. Today we'll start with understanding all except function. So what is all except function? So all except function, what it does is it removes all the filters except the column that you mentioned in your all except function. Okay. Column, yeah. So in the case of all except, the syntax is slightly different. I'll just show you here. This is the one we have seen it yesterday. One second. This is the one we have seen it, right, yesterday. And look here, in this case, 1 second, I'll just remove this. I think I copied that because of, look here, up to all selected we have seen. Now I just go ahead and take a look at the all except. Okay, I do one thing. I'll just duplicate the page. Okay, in here I just remove this one. This is also not required. Not the page. This will only I want to remove it. Fine. I just move. Yeah, this is not required. Yeah, all these things I will just remove it. In this case, yeah, I just remove for the sake of simplicity. I'm going to remove profit and daily total revenue. This one also we discussed yesterday. Daily total revenue also, and the filter and Boolean expression. The all function, all selected. Now we are going to take a look at all except function. Okay, so what is this all except function? It removes all filters from a table or a column except the column that you or the column, right, except the one that you specify in the function. It, right, for example, if I specify in the all except function, inside the function, if I specify category column, it'll apply the filter for category column. Rest of the columns, it'll ignore the filter. Okay, so that is what it is. The syntax for all except function is it takes the first argument as a table. So this is somewhat not similar to your all selected and all function. In the case of all except, the first argument you need to specify as a table name. So let me see if we are lucky to see any all except. All except is not there. Okay, I will just create it a fresh one. Modeling ribbon, click on new measure. So I just say total revenue. For category, okay, is equivalent to calculate function, and next one is here we will use the same thing, total revenue. It is already there, that measure, total revenue measure, and then here the next line is all except, and here the sales fact table, comma, or the sales. Okay, in this case we are using dim. Okay, here I just not the sales fact, dim category, because the other table only we have the category column is there. In this table, I just want to specify the category column. And then you need to specify this one. Okay, total revenue for category. So here Bangalore sales, in this table, it got created total revenue for category. So is that done or not? Okay, let me just say, I think it is signed. Yeah, it has been done. Okay, total revenue for, I just dropped this here. Got it? So now what I do is I just select the beverages category and frozen foods and dry fruits and dairy. So what you can understand here is the total revenue, whatever you see it here, right? The sales revenue breakdown by category, whatever you see, the same thing we can see it here. Okay, now I just add another filter. In this case, I just go here and let me use. So location name table should be there. I did not load it here. Anyhow, we will manage with the existing table because it takes time. I do one thing. I just see the customer name. Yeah. So in that case, if I apply this filter, it is getting affected, right? It is getting affected. And importantly, let me do one thing. I'll just unselect this one. Now all except, okay, this is one second, doing with the correct one. Yeah, total revenue for category. Ideally, I'll make it all except, okay. So that it'd be easier for you to revenue for total revenue for category, right? So yeah, so here I just say all accepted. I just say all except. I just renamed it so that you can easily compare it for the sake of illustration. Okay, and here we have done it. So now I have included another slicer here, and if I select Chris and Hemel, John and Raj, it gives me the same thing, right? Yeah. Okay, in this case, okay, all except. So both of them give the same thing. Okay, now the question is, what is the difference between these two, right? So yeah, all except, let me do one thing, all except revenue. Here, let me do one thing. Here in this case, name customer name is equivalent to Chris. So this DAX query is three tables, right? Category, dim dimension, category dimension, all the things. Okay, fine. Now we want to compare only the Chris's sales. Now I just unselect this one. And if you see here, whatever the categories that we select, for that it shows this one. But here it shows only the Chris's salary, right? Sorry, Chris's purchase. When I select Hamel, John, someone else, it is not showing something that ideally here if you can use some location kind of thing, right? Instead of customer name, if you use location, it makes sense. So let me do one thing for this in the interest of to make it more interesting. I will just instead of customer dimension I will import the location dimension. Let me do one thing because that I used it in another file. Again, it's not have so many files, it will confuse dim location. Dim location xx file. Okay. So, for example, you want to see a specific locations, the sales breakdown by category, right? So you want to see specific location, values, should get displayed because you want to compare uh, different locations sales here. But if we explicitly introduce a filter on total revenue measure also it will show the same result on Excel. That is what I will just yeah, that is correct. If you use so if you use the total revenue measure and also all except if you use it, it will show same thing. Okay, and but thing is, I mentioned the category column as an argument, right? If I use something else, then it will apply the filter on that one. So instead of using the condition there, one second, I will show you with the location dimension so that you will get the real time feel. Okay, instead of seeing the customer name, yeah, here itself I could have done it. Let it be there. No, the Soumya, our question is, I'll explain one second. Let me finish this one and I'll explain it. Let me do one thing. I just this up and transform ribbon, use first row as it is, and then simply apply, close and apply, close and apply, apply the image. It automatically in this session that it detects everything. But before I jump in, the um, location dimension, since you've asked this question, I'll show you. Okay, so now the thing is all except here. What I will do is instead of this condition, I will remove it. Here, instead of this condition, I'm going to say dim location. Okay, or for the sake of continuity, I'll just say dim customer and then dim customer name. Sorry, the customer ID. Yeah, sorry, in this case, customer name, right? I used it. Okay, let it be there. But it is kind of confusing one, right? So customer name, what are the customer that I selected? It gives me, yeah, it is not going to work. Argument 3 function is required. Name customer, and yeah, here I need to specify the condition here. Okay, here, what did I do here earlier? So let me just check. Yes, I have to remove the comma. One second. In this case, dim customer, and then here dim customer name. No, I removed it. Argument 3, yeah, function is required. So I think, yeah, I did not remove the comma. You are correct. Now it is working fine. Now, since I have selected, when I applied the filter based on this column, sorry, based on these values, right? 4 values. It shows for these 4 categories, what are the values? The same thing it shows here also, right? And it removed the filter. One second. Ideally, it should have removed the filter. Let me just check here. Total revenue. And then all except dim customer name. Okay. Yeah, because for in the okay, let me do one thing. In this case, all except it shows same as that value still. Okay. Let us do one thing. I just select the Chris and John here. Or let me do one thing. If I select Chris, it gives me breakdown of sales by category by customer Chris. And if I select Raj, it makes it more dynamic, right? If you want to see the breakdown of sales, okay, but here both of them are shows the same thing. Okay, so that is the reason why here we will use explicitly, we'll add another filter, okay, the additional filter, so that it will not get changed. Okay, I'll just start 1 second. All except, with this you can try with the location also. Here, that's the reason why I added the condition here. So for that purpose, you want to compare the customer name, sorry, sales. Oh, okay. Here the customer is sales fact, not the sales fact. Sorry, the here the customer name is equivalent to. Let's see here if I put Chris, additional condition. Okay. So in that kind of situation, it is helpful. Now we are done. Okay, I just close this one. Look here, I just clear this one now. If I clear this, what is happening here? So this, it gives me the total revenue breakdown by category. Along with that, it shows only the Chris's breakdown, right? And by default it gives us. And if I select HML, right, irrespective of the customer that I select, it shows only the crisis. Okay, this one is applicable in the case of location. For example, you are operating your main office in Mumbai or Delhi, right? So in that kind of situation, you want to compare your base location Delhi's breakdown or sales breakdown along with this one. So that is the reason why this example is correct, but the scenario is not right. Okay, so what I will do is I'll just use the dim location. Yeah, so here, let me do one thing. All except the same thing. See, all the batches I use the dim location only. Since the dim location table was not there, I use that example. Here, you can replace this by dim location. Okay, the since I loaded it with it might be sheet one or something like that. I should have renamed that one. Let me do. I think this is the one, right? Your location name. You need to rename it as who's opening something else. Yes. So next, the table name got and here all except the measurement. I just go here and then here I replace that by dim location. Here, okay, in this case, I just remove this one. Location name. I just drop the location name here. In that case, if I select Bangalore, okay, except yeah, Bangalore, right? All except for revenue. Okay, and Mumbai, it is not showing anything. Let me do one thing. I'll just clear it. dim location and location ni. Okay, okay, sorry, it is not a location, a location ID, right? Location key also. Location key. The location key is Bangalore. Because the common column between sales fact and location dimension is location key. Okay, BLR. Yeah, now it is displaying it, correct. Make sure that you are using the key column here, okay? And here you can see that if this is your base location Bangalore, okay? So give me the breakdown of sales by this one. But you remember we have used the Boolean expression, right? And if I use the Boolean expression, like instead of using all except, if you remove that line all except function, that line in the script, it is giving the total sales you made in all the category in Bangalore. It repeats across the rows, right? But here the internal filter is getting applied, right? Internal filter, for example, if I select Bangalore, right, so it is not showing Mumbai, no sales, and Chennai sale is there. But still, even if you change the location name, this one remains constant. You want to compare your base location category wise sales breakdown or revenue breakdown compared to the overall sales. Okay, and here if I see Chennai, look here, Chennai, and the dairy is this is overall, right? So out of the total in Chennai, just we made 3,600 only. Mumbai we don't have any sales, and Bangalore correct. Hyderabad in dairy we made sorry, total sales we made in Hyderabad. It shows, see, Hyderabad sales, you can see it here breakdown. Along with that, you can see the Bangalore sales. Okay, but if you don't select anything, if you don't apply any filter in the location slicer for all the four category put together, it gives me what the total sales by category. Okay, here it shows my base location breakdown of sales. You understood, right? And supposing you want to see Chennai sales, right? Chennai and Bangalore, if you want to compare, you can do it this way. In Chennai, this dairy we made big money, but whereas here in our base location we are not doing good. So Chennai, this is good. So location wise sales breakdown, you can compare it with a specific location. And apart from this, if you want to compare the total, whatever the slicer that you applied, whatever the filter that you applied using this first slicer, so which means the four categories sales wise, the breakdown, it gives you the revenue breakdown. Along with that, it gives you the revenue breakdown for your default the Bangalore, because we added a filter here, right? So this is the one you need to understand very clearly. This is a little bit complex one, but the advantages are manifold, right? So in this case, the all except function, location key, I mentioned, the Bangalore, right? Hence, I can compare. So this kind of scenario, you can use all except function. Okay, yes, I will repeat this once again, Soumya. So what happens? So up to this, you are clear, right? When whatever the values filter that you applied here, for example, four categories I selected here, and it is, it is doing the filter correctly. But forget about the all select all. We already discussed about it. I'm talking about all except. When it comes to all except, what happens? It gives me the total sales we made across this category, or the total revenue breakdown by category. Okay. Along with that, so it gives me the total revenue breakdown by Bangalore city alone by default. But if you select any other country here, sorry, city, for that city, what is the sales breakdown, revenue breakdown? Along with that, your base, this one will remain constant. So this is the kind of scenario you can use the all except function. You understood, right? So this is how we can use it. And then the next one is the keep filter and remove filter. So what is the keep filter? The keep filter is slightly different. I will use the key. So in that case, what happens? It preserves only the filter. Okay, it removes the rest of the things. You know, the irrelevant filters, right? It keep only the filters that have been directly applied by the user. Okay, that's all. That is what your keep filter. For example, here I just take the all except, and then I just go here. I just copy this to save time, and then I just go to the modeling ribbon, and then I click on the new measure. Okay, it is there in the, okay, here keep filters. Keep filters. Actually, the previous one, the naming convention is not correct, right? So the all except for a location. Okay, in this case, what I am going to do is, yeah, so we will use the same thing. Keep filters. The expression is the same thing. Okay, Bangalore. Okay, I just press enter so that we can compare side by side. See the filter, instead of keep filters, you can use filter also, but the filter function will not modify the filter context. Okay, what I will do is I'll just drop the keep filter here. Keep filters measure for category. Is this the one? No, no. 1 second. Yeah, this is the one I think. Yeah, the Bangalore mine goes for category. This is the one I used it. Yeah, Bangalore, right? Dim location, Bangalore. Hmm. All except revenue for category. So all except also the same thing. Here also the same thing. Okay, let me do one thing. I will just select Chennai. Look here. Even though I selected Chennai here, still it displays my base location sales breakdown by category. Okay. And here, whereas in the case of key filters, it is not showing that value. Okay. But when I select Bangalore, it shows here. Okay. With this, what you can understand, what do you can understand here? So whatever the it exclude any implicit filters. It exclude any implicit filters, right? Implicit filter is, for example, if I select Chennai, it is ignoring the implicit filter, right? But in this case, um, we have used the location as Bangalore. But in this case, what happens is within this modified filter context in Bangalore city, within this modified filter context, it simply it still obeys the implicit filter, right? It still obeys the implicit filter in within Bangalore. Within that Bangalore filter context, it gives me the breakdown. But whereas here in the case of key filter, it is not doing that. It excludes any implicit filters. That's it, guys. That is the difference between key filters and all except. And for example, if I select Bangalore, so this is the one we have explicitly specified, right? Whatever the values that you specified explicitly in this filter, it obeys that, whereas it simply ignores the implicit filters. Whereas in this case, within this modified filter context in Bangalore city, still it is obeying the internal filter. Okay, but it is it is overriding the filter that comes outside of this one. So look here, if you click on this one, you will get to know that. Look here, the location name is Chennai, but it has overridden the Chennai thing. Okay, and then dairy. Okay, now okay, fine. Your question is this one, right? Soumya's question is, select the dairy and frozen foods, any other thing, okay, apart from the four, and all except you can still see that, okay. Within this modified filter context in Bangalore, still it does the implicit filter even though I change the category, right? So it up, it goes, it still obeys the external filter, this slicer. The filter comes from this slicer is applied here, but this one got ignored, okay. Why this one gets obeyed here? So in this case, we have used the all except function on the location column. The location column was this one. It removed the other filters, right? It removed the all except function, removed the other filters. But what happens is, in this case, all except function, the location key equal to Bangalore, I mentioned it. Okay, but within this Bangalore filtered data, right, the implicit filter is working here. But whereas here, the implicit filter is not working for other cities here. Okay, that is the difference between these two. But when you don't apply anything, everything seems to be same. All except and key filter remains same. Okay. But only when you apply the filter, again, you need to use different slicer. Okay. Don't use the same thing. Otherwise, you will not be able to reap the benefits of the DAX functions, right? So use more than one, and especially the key filter and those kind of things. Okay, when can I use the filter? So that is what it is. It depends on your requirements, Soumya. So for example, if they don't, if, let's say they don't want to see the Bangalore value to be displayed, irrespective of the city that I say. For example, other than Bangalore, if I select anything else, right. So even for Chennai, it displays this value. But if I select Chennai, it should display the breakdown of these Chennai's sales by category. Along with Bangalore also, if you want to see it, you can compare it side by side. If there is a requirement, no, I don't want this one to be displayed along with any other city. It is confusing me. Then you don't use this. Okay. For example, you want to view only when you click on Bangalore. Only when you click on Bangalore. Okay, you want to see the totals. So in this case, it doesn't make any sense, right? All the okay, let me do one thing. The dairy and beverages, when I select, okay, dry fruits. In general, Bangalore, the sales is not good. But when you select Bangalore here, you're not going to get any benefit here, right? It is showing the same thing across the three columns, all the three columns, right? Total revenue, all the things. Supposing when you select something else, Chennai, and Chennai breakdown, you can see it here, the first column. Along with that, you can see the Bangalore thing, but the key filter will not get shown here. Okay, there are situations where you want to see the Bangalore sales only, right? Sales breakdown, right? So in that kind of situation, you can use key filter. For example, I just select Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad. Then I select more than three city. So what does it shows here? So these three cities put together, what is the total sales here? Sales breakdown. These three cities, and for these four categories breakdown it gives me. But here it gives me the Bangalore. And since we have selected Bangalore, here also it shows, right? Here also it shows. Okay. But if you think, right, for example, if you don't select Bangalore, what will happen? This one will not get displayed. So in that kind of situation, you cannot compare. There are situations like this, right? All the time you select Bangalore in addition to other cities, then this is helpful. Okay. And so in that kind of situation, you don't need this one, isn't it? Along with the Bangalore, definitely. See, for whatever the selection that you make it, along with that, the Bangalore will also needs to be displayed, or it's the default one. Let's say you're using a filter pane and you specify Bangalore should get displayed, something like that. Okay, or some other thing that you do it. So in that kind of situation, you don't need this one. Simple example is, along with the Bangalore, so along with other cities, At any cost, I'm going to select Bangalore. In that kind of situation, this is helpful. Apart from this, we have some other scenarios. For example, you want to compare the average revenue. So far, we discussed about the total revenue, right? Specific location, what is the average total sales and average sales. So in that kind of situation, see, instead of using total revenue everywhere, so here you can use the average, right? You can use average in that kind of situation, okay? But only when you select Bangalore, it will get displayed here, okay? So, but here it gives you the sum of sales, but here it gives you the average. But average only when you select Bangalore, it gives you the average here, okay? So you want to compare the average sales of Bangalore with other cities, other three cities, right? In that kind of situation, that is helpful. This is another example. Instead of using total, right? Average also, you can use it here. These are the two scenarios wherein you can use the key filter. Okay, next one is the, so with this, we are able to understand the all except function. It removes all the columns filter except the column that you mentioned it as part of this function's argument. As a, for example, in our example, mentioned about location key, right? So it was not removing the filter on the location key column. Rest of the column, it removed the filter. And the key filter was helpful in terms of retaining. The key filter disregards the implicit filter. It disregards the implicit filter. Whereas the all except function, it's still it's within the modified filter context. For example, in our example, location key is Bangalore, still it respects the implicit filter, right? So in category one, in category technology, what the total sales we made in Bangalore, right? Still it goes by the implicit filter also, whereas here it ignores the implicit filter. That is the key difference between these two.